Alright, so it's time I speak my piece about Kyle Rittenhouse. I was gonna leave this one alone. I really was. But I told my girl about it, and she was like, what? I heard about the riots in Kenosha, but... So I went to go show her videos and show her what had happened and the propaganda list was long. It seems like the general reporting public is trying to tilt the scales of justice. And since they're already working on it, it doesn't really matter what I say, now does it? A couple of things that should be noted is, one, I'm not a lawyer, and I'm not giving legal advice. And if you take legal advice from me, you're stealing. Number two, this video is sponsored by TacPack. Actually, this next month coming up, October, they're running their boxes, because they give you a whole bunch of stuff like steel targets, magazines, single point slings, etc. Well, this coming month in October, they're running a TacPack that's like 3 times larger than normal with an estimated value of $140. And if you sign up now, you're entered to win a $500 knife, I believe is what they said it was. Anywho, use the promo code PIMPHANDSTRONG for an extra grab bag of gear. And make sure to give the sponsors love too, because that'll probably be the future of this channel, because this style of content isn't advertiser friendly for some reason. Anywho, back on to Kyle. So if you're not familiar with the story, I'm just going to give you a brief synopsis so you get an idea of what it all went down. Alright, so 3 days into the riots, Kyle goes there to help with the cleanup effort, help remove graffiti, give medical aid if needed. Anyway, one of the owners, now this is all speculation, none of this is for sure, but anyway, one of the owners had asked, hey, can you guys hang around my area? You know, I really don't want my business destroyed. So, first event that's really significant, rioters show up at gas station. So they were sitting there, they did not go to the rioters. They are not some vigilantes running around through town with rifles trying to kill bad guys. No, they were in a fixed position. I shouldn't say fixed, you know, they're moving around a little bit, but they were there before the rioters showed up. The rioters came to them. So rioters show up at gas station. Next significant event. The rioters were trying to burn down the gas station. They actually lit this dumpster on fire that they were going to ram it with. Kyle goes and uses an extinguisher and puts the gas station out. Or the fire out. That irritated a lot of people. So conflict started to happen. Next, shots fired while Kyle was being pursued. He had this one guy that got exceptionally irritated about the fire in the dumpster, which, you know, you gotta look at it through the rioters' point of view. They're trying to burn down this business, and this kid keeps putting out their fires. So you gotta see through their eyes that he's a real nuisance, because he's putting out the fires when they're trying to successfully burn down a business. So that's a real problem. Anyways, they get super mad. As far as I know, I mean, there may be videos that don't come out until court. Who knows? Reporters have a tendency to buy up videos too, so there may be videos that just were never released. Anyway, so the next video clips, you see Kyle getting pursued by this guy. He throws something at it. It looks like maybe a rock or something inside of a Walmart bag he was trying to use as some sort of hinged weapon. Anyway, while he's chasing this guy, or while Kyle's getting chased by this guy, he throws it, misses, and then Kyle gets shot at from behind. You can see it clearly in the videos. There's a muzzle flash. Anyways, Kyle turns behind him and looks. Myself, at that point in time, my firearm would have came off safety. If they're shooting at me, they've forfeited their right to live, because now it's a life and death situation. Anyway, Kyle turns around. You see him go running in between cars. Shots were fired. Was it from Kyle? I don't know. I watched the videos a lot. I could not definitively see a muzzle blast. We assume it was from Kyle because the person right next to him gets shot. We don't know. It very well may have been the guy that already had shot at him. Had shot more directly and hit the guy that was chasing him. Again, we don't know. So anyways, Kyle's being pursued. The guy that's chasing him falls, shot to the head, dead. Presumably, Kyle shot him. Again, we don't know. Where are we? Kyle shoots pursuer. We're just going to assume, though, that Kyle did shoot the guy because it's the thing that makes the most logical sense. And we're not wearing aluminum foil hats. We're trying to figure this thing out. So Kyle shoots pursuer, we think, at least. Alright, so then Kyle goes around, circles around the vehicle, sees if he can render aid to the pursuer. Obviously, he's got a hole in his dome. There's not a whole lot you can do at that point. Bunch of people start crowding in. The rioters catch up with him. He goes on the run again. While he's running, he falls. Which, that's to be expected. Your pulse is accelerated. You're scared out of your mind. You're just trying to get away. You can literally see the police line. They are visible. You're trying to get to the police line. Boom! Eat shit. It's very unfortunate that happened because that brought in some more events. So Kyle's laying on his back, gets viciously assaulted. Where are we here? Kyle falls. Kyle's viciously attacked while he's laying on his back. One guy hits him with a skateboard. Another guy tries to kick him in the face. Alright, so this one guy goes to try to kick him in the face. Kyle shoots. That's the first shot. I know 100% without a doubt he did fire because you can see the muzzle flash out of his gun. Smoke comes out. He misses that guy. Then a guy bashes him with a skateboard. He lets that go, which he's got a lot of restraint. Now another guy goes to try to strip away his weapon. Boom! Shoots him in the bicep, and then one more guy gets shot. Alright, so then Kyle, where are we here? Kyle's viciously attacked on the ground. Kyle defends himself. Kyle starts walking to the police. You can hear multiple shots ringing out at this point. Presumably, they are trying to shoot Kyle in the back as he's walking towards the police. Again, we don't know because there's just no way to tell, but wherever the fire is coming from, it sounds close range, comparing sound to his fire, plus the fire you're hearing. So I'm guessing that the rioters decide they are going to take the law into their own hands and try to shoot this guy down while he's going to the police. Multiple shots were fired, ideally probably trying to hit Kyle in the back. So what are the questions that come from this? So now you got a brief synopsis of the story. And remember, this stuff is evolving as time goes by. Some of this stuff may, besides like the actual footage you can see, prove to have a lot more context behind it. But from what we know right now, this is roughly how the story goes down. So the first question that I see come up multiple occasions, time and time again. Can Kyle legally possess that firearm? Now, federally, there's no laws against that. As a matter of fact, people come from Illinois to Wisconsin to hunt constantly. There's no invisible state line. Now, if that firearm was illegal, say this was California and you were coming from Nevada, then yes, you're transferring the firearm over a state line into a restricted state. You have broke the law. Now, it would be different if Kyle would have sold that firearm to someone in Wisconsin, or someone from Illinois sold him that, because he lives in Illinois, or if somebody from Wisconsin sold him that firearm while he lives in Illinois, then it's different because that's interstate commerce. That's when the feds kick in. You got to remember, the feds are only supposed to deal with interstate commerce, only crossing state lines. That's like the laws they actually have on the books are completely unconstitutional. They are only allowed to deal with foreign affairs and state-to-state transactions. Because there was no transaction, he did not purchase that firearm from Wisconsin, and somebody from Illinois did not sell a Wisconsin resident that firearm, because at that point then you need to go through an FFL. There's no reason he can't have it. It's no different than if you were to come from Illinois to Wisconsin to go deer hunting. Exactly the same thing. You can carry firearms across state line. That's totally legal. Now the next thing that comes up is his age. Well, that's another state affair. So in Wisconsin, it breaks down a little something like this. See, Wisconsin was heavily infested with just hunters. They didn't care about any sort of Second Amendment thing. They just wanted their hunting protected. So while they were dropping the hammer in Wisconsin with firearms laws, anything resulted with hunting was pretty protected. But this is basically how it breaks down. Now, this is my interpretation. The law is written a little bit weird. It'll tell you a section, then it'll be like, now reference section here. if it does not violate this section, and while you're reading through that section, then I'll have another reference point, so it jumps around to try to be confusing. But relatively speaking, it's pretty straightforward. So in Wisconsin, you can only legally not possess a firearm without direct parental supervision at the age less than 12. So that would be 1 through 11. Your parents need to be right there. You cannot do it on your own. At 12 years old, you are able to have your own firearm and go hunting by yourself. So basically, once you hit 12 years old, if you have your parents' permission, now it's very strong on this. It says between the age of 12 and 14, if you possess a firearm, display a firearm in public, or shoot a firearm without your parents' permission, your parents can be charged with a misdemeanor crime. Now, at the age of 14, you no longer need your parents' permission. I believe they have it written that way. This way, if you go and shoot up a school or something like that, you can be tried as an adult. In order to be tried as an adult, you have to have adult privileges. So at 14 years old, you no longer need your parents' permission for that firearm, as long as it's not an illegal firearm, like, say, a handgun. In Wisconsin law, you got to be 21 to possess a handgun. Now, Wisconsin law, you got to be 18, or it would be federal law, to buy a long guns. However, you can possess it, and we have an open carry law. So under the age of 18, or is it 14? I don't know if that goes all the way to 18 or if that also stops at 14. But anyway, we have open carry in Wisconsin. Now, this is very important when it comes to hunting, because without an open carry law, hunting is like walking on eggshells. You're just bound to screw up at some point. You absolutely need open carry in your state in order to do hunting legally. I mean, yes, you can do it if you live on private land and, okay, here's a piece of land I do not own, unload my firearm, put it in a case, store the ammunition separate, cross that piece, open the firearm back up, put the ammunition back in it, and continue stalking my deer. Well, with open carry, you don't need to do that. You can cross a roadway or whatever without having to completely unload your hunting rifle. So that was something that the people in the state before my time fought for hard, was open carry. This way you're not walking on eggshells while you're hunting. So you can legally open carry. Now, they do not have an age restriction on this. Otherwise, if you're under the age of 18, well, you wouldn't be able to hunt. You could, but it would have to be on public land only. You wouldn't be able to do private land, or you'd only be able to do it on private land. You wouldn't be able to do public land. You'd have problems when you're crossing a roadway or anything like that. It would basically make hunting not doable unless you own large sections of your own land. You have to remember, too, Wisconsin has a couple sprinklings of population centers. Places like Madison, Milwaukee, Kenosha, stuff like that, they are not the majority. They are not the rule. They are the exception to the rule. Generally speaking, if you go to Wisconsin and you're not headed directly towards a population center, there's nothing. It's just open land, trees. Like, I live in a retirement town. What that basically means is people will save up all their life so when they're done with work, they can move into my town and retire. And the number one comment I get from all of them is, wow, look at all these trees and all this wide open space. Because that's the rule in Wisconsin. Population centers are the exception. So all the laws in that are written around the majority of Wisconsin, which is just wide open space with trees everywhere. So yes, he can legally possess that rifle by Wisconsin law. He is over the age of 14. He no longer has to have parental consent. Yes, he can legally have that rifle on him because of open carry. Now, under the age of 18, you have to be using that rifle in hunting or target shooting. Because he wasn't using that rifle, that's irrelevant. Now, when he did actually use that rifle, we don't have a law that you need to be X amount years old in order to defend your own life. So if they find him in self-defense, which I assume they're going to, there's nothing they can charge him with. He's going to walk. Alright, so where are we here? Worst case scenario. I believe he would get charged with a misdemeanor. And I believe they would have to prove that he had the intent to go there to be a vigilante. But the fact of the matter is, he was going into a riot hot zone to help with the cleanup effort and offer medical aid if need be. And he exhausted all of his options to try to get away. You didn't see him being like, oh, there's a group of rioters burning a business down, run up behind them and start sniping them. No, he was running away. They came to him. He was on the retreat. When he fell down, in my mind, I'm not an expert of law or anything like that, but in my mind, when he fell down and he was being attacked on the ground, he exhausted all reasonable, how would you even word that? All reasonable attempts to escape. When that guy was chasing him and he was being shot at from behind, I believe at that point he had also exhausted all reasonable attempts to escape. Because you can't escape from a bullet. He was in a wide open area. The guy caught up to him when he got to the car. If I was Kyle, I would have heard the gunshots, seen this guy chasing me, and I would have assumed they came from him. So if he did shoot that guy, I myself would have thought that was self-defense. Again, though, I'm not a lawyer, so we'll have to see how this all plays out. But I think worst case scenario is he might get a misdemeanor in Wisconsin. I don't think that'll be a federal charge. He lives in Illinois, so what does that really mean? Nothing. My honest thoughts on it, I believe the police issued a warrant, arrested and detained him, and are going to run him through the legal circus to protect the kid. Because he is a huge problem for the rioters. In order for riots to exist, a power vacuum needs to exist. In order for a power vacuum to exist, there must be general fear amongst the general public. Without the general fear, that will collapse, and then the power vacuum will collapse, and the riots just will not happen because people will be like, "That's enough is enough. We will not stand for this." I'm not saying he's a symbol or hope or anything like that. The point is he stood up to the rioters. And I believe the police feel, hopefully, if we drag this out for about a year, by the time he gets released back to the general public, people have come to their senses, they'll have removed those ridiculous masks, they'll stop fearing people running through the streets, because the riots can only happen if we allow them to happen. And then everything will return back to normal. He'll be able to, go back into the general public and not have to worry about, death threats and drive-by shootings and people trying to set his parents' house on fire. But we'll have to see and see how everything plays out. So what can we do? Well, there's plenty of GoFundMe pages. GoFundMe is weird. You have to pay attention to who's running it, because I could literally start a page, GoFundMe for Kyle's legal relief fund, and I can take all the money myself and, I don't know, do next to nothing. You still have to do what the page is promised, otherwise you can get sued. But you got to be careful who's running it. You're going to want to make sure it's run by somebody that's actually related with Kyle. You could also put money on his books in jail. I believe, I'll see if I can't find out exactly where he's jailed. But that's always an option, because then he can get commissary. Now, I haven't put money on books for anyone in jail in a while, because it's been years since I've been trying to bang a girl that was in jail. So I don't know 100% how it works. But when I did it, I actually went into the jail the chick was at, and they had a little machine on the wall, and you typed in their name, it brought them up, and then you just put the money in. But you would assume you could do this over the phone. I would assume so anyway. So that's always an option. Oh, what else we got here? So what do you guys think? Leave in the comments below how you think this is going to play out. There was something else I wanted to talk about, but I'm clearly forgetting it. Anywho, I apologize. Most of the video was a brief synopsis, but I believe that's important because perspective is everything. Like I said, a lot of the links that I were finding were teenage boy murders people, or murders peaceful protesters. That was like the leading headline. So anyway, thank you for watching. If you'd like to check out any of my other videos, I got links up here. If you'd like to help support the channel, got my Patreon. You can also hit up that sponsorship. The more people that go to that sponsorship, the more likely they are to sponsor me in the future. That's really helpful. I also have affiliate links in the description down below. Just by clicking on that link, even if you don't buy what that link is for, I get a little kickback because Amazon said you went there off my channel. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.